Today I'm going to show you a very interesting thing. We are going to read something. Basically, we're going to read any balance of any, the balance of any public address on the blockchain only using JavaScript. And I'm going to show you how you can do this very easily only using Ethers.js. So how can we do this? So let's go into Visual Studio Code. I have opened a folder. So let's create a new file. We'll create an index HTML. This is going to be a very simple page. I'm going to have this thing. So this is my boilerplate code, just basic HTML page. You don't need this. We can just create a JavaScript file, but let's do it this way because it's more natural to me, because this is a real website, and we are even going to make a button that triggers this whole action. And always when you are starting something new, when you don't know about a certain technology, a very good idea will be to go ahead and read the docs. So that's exactly what I did here. I went to the Ethers.js library, and if you just go to this getting started section, you're going to see you need to install Ethers to use it with npm. But wait, this is not an npm project. This is just a simple HTML page. So let's see if we can find something else. Also, I want to teach you how to think critically, logically through this, how to solve problems yourself. This is why I don't want to give you just the golden nuggets. And this is, I stuck up on this thing, which is the Ethers CDN, and this is how we're going to get Ethers into our project. Let's actually, if we want to run this HTML page, you need to go into your extensions and install this live server extension that allows you to right click on open with live server, and this is basically going to launch a live server in the background where this is your app. Let's inspect this and let's go into the console, and you'll see why I'm doing this in a second. And let's try to access window.ethers. So you can see currently we don't have a library, but let's see what happens once we add this script here, basically the CDN, and you'll see what a CDN is in just a second if you don't know already. So let's now, and by the way, this automatically refreshes. Let's search for Ethers, and there we have it. We have it auto completed. If I click on enter, you can see I have this object. So we have successfully, this is a very interesting way to show that you have successfully imported Ethers. Let's see very quickly what a CDN is. CDN stands for, let's see, a content delivery network. Basically, a group of geographically distributed servers that work together to provide you fast delivery of internet content. So this is how we are getting this Ethers object here that we can use to, read data from the blockchain. And let's see what happens if I comment this out, go into my page. I don't have to reload. You just type in window, and I'm going to zoom in, window.ethers, and again it's undefined. And once I comment this out, I go window.ethers, and there I have it once again. So now that we have the Ethers objects, let's go ahead and create a button that when we click it, it's going to show the balance of any address that we would like. So this button is just going to show balance. So let's call it that. And let's give it an on-click function. So on-click, and it's going to be show balance, and we're going to call it. And to use JavaScript, of course, you need to add a script here. So let's add a script, and now let's also create a function. and it's going to be called show balance. By the way, this I didn't explain this. Basically, it's an event when you click the function, this function gets triggered, the function show balance. So let's write this down, create the body of the function, and don't forget that this should be a asynchronous function, because we're going to do transactions here, and transactions are asynchronous operations. Basically, this allows you to use this await keyword, and you'll see why you need that in a second. Let's first just console.log some text just to see that our function works. And now if I click on show balance, I get A printed out. So everything works fine. So to read anything from the blockchain, you have to be part of the blockchain, which means you have to be a node. I mean, it makes sense since you want to read some data from these nodes that are on the blockchain. Basically, they represent the blockchain. You want to be on the blockchain, and we need to, so which means we need to create a node, start up our own node on the Ethereum blockchain if we want to read from Ethereum. And you're going to know this by if you read just the documentation. But there's other way, is using third-party web services like Infura. And if you use this service, you can go ahead like I did, sign up, verify your email, and just create your first project, and then you can choose your network here that you want to use. So they have on the Ethereum mainnet, we're going to use the mainnet, and you're going to get this link, this endpoint, which is just pointing to your node. So basically Infura is, I didn't explain this well enough, but Infura creates a node for you, holds a node, and this is how you get access to that node, this endpoint here. So now we have created a node, which means we are ready to connect to the blockchain and read that juicy balance. So let's start coding. Let's go into this code editor, whatever it's called, and let's say const provider. We're going to define a provider, which basically just an abstraction that the Ethereum Ethers uses, and we're going to say equal to Ethers. And by the way, I'm just reading all of this from the blockchain, I mean from the documentation, nothing special. This is, actually let's just read the documentation. So if you read the docs, you can see that this line of code will connect you to this localhost. So they expect you to have a running node yourself, but since we're not using this, we're going to provide here our endpoint, and because we're not hosting a node on localhost, so we're going to copy this line, and here we're going to paste our endpoint, basically our node. So go up here, mainnet, copy this, create a string here, paste this here, and then this is the line you have to copy again from the docs to read a balance. So go up here, you have Ethers here. You can use any address, so let's go to Etherscan. Let's just see the last miner. So this is one miner. Let's use this one as an example. This is just a random address I found on the Ethereum block scanner. So you can see it has a lot of Ether. It has 22 Ether. So let's copy this address, and instead of putting this domain name, let's put in this address, and let's console log this. So if I log this, just like so, I am going to get the balance in way, and I want to get it in Ether. So we're going to do a little formatting by using ethers.utils.format ether, and then we're going to provide the balance. And I'm not looking into my second script, no, not at all. So let's refresh this, click on show balance, and bam, we've got 22.2 Ether, which is exactly how much this address has. And This is not a very big example, but you can read anything and you can make even transaction using JavaScript, and I'll show you more about this in a later video.